3 letters left the village bound for somewhere over there.
I went to Hunter College in New York City.
Hunter College, yes.
Yes, that was converted into a Navy
how
school.
I didn't know that.
Yes, that was converted into a Navy school for boot training.
Yeah. Well,
And they had absorbed all the apartments surrounding it.
Yeah.
For a barracks for the
Yeah.
Navy women.
Yeah, how interesting.
In that. And we went there for a number of time and did the usual drilling and physical fitness.
Sure.
And swimming. If you were in the Navy, you had to learn how to swim.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but that's very logical.
Yes. And there were a lot of young women scared. Oh, I don't know if I can swim the length
They never
of the pool.
learned how as a kid.
I'll get washed out.
Yeah.
So, and you learn the basics, the terminology, and
that was something.
the chain of command and your physical fitness. You did your usual KP duty.
Yes.
And I thought, I knew Chicago was cold. I had braved a lot of cold weather.
You didn't know it.
New York was terrible.
Even
It was
worse.
the winter time.
Well, that's kind of upstate New York, isn't it?
Well, it was off the water.
Yeah, that old wet cold.
And there were a number of a variety of fields that we could go into.
Yeah.
And we tested out for all of those. Well, I wanted to be a control tower operator.
Well, I declare.
And I tested for that, but I discovered I did not have the speaking voice for it.
I see. You'd have to have a strong...
Yes, and I didn't have... So I went to the next best thing, what I knew and was skilled in already, and that was being a yeoman, and that was the officer clerical work.
You're right. Well,
so
that was...
after that, then I was sent to Iowa State Teachers College in Waterloo, Iowa.
That's another cold place.
Well, that was closer to home when it was dry cold.
Yeah, right.
And we went through yeoman school.
Yes.
And we learned how to type on that manual typewriter, and were very good at it.
Yes, indeed. They were noisy, weren't they, compared to modern technology?
And shorthand and all the other business and Navy forms that we would be using.
So you were in training probably for 9 months.
No.
Not that long.
No.
3 months.
I think about 2 months.
They moved you right along, didn't they?
Yes.
So you went right to work at your job now.
I was assigned to, well, at Eastman, what I supervised at Texas Eastman was the stenographic pool.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was assigned to at the Bureau of Ships.
You were just
I worked all over that bureau.
Yeah.
At whatever job they needed doing.
Well, you could do any of those jobs. They were all stenographic type, and
That's
you could type and you could take shorthand, no doubt.
Yes.
And when they wanted somebody to take down what somebody said, you were there.
That's right. Was when I was transferred from the Bureau of Ships to the Secretary of the Navy.
Yeah.
And worked on the Pearl Harbor investigation.
Yeah.
There were 3 of us assigned to the Admiral Forrester's office.
Yeah.
And every 3rd day, I would go to the Senate hearing.
Oh, how interesting.
And although I didn't take dictation of the proceedings, while we were in the hearing, we would be told to go call so-and-so or
Yeah.
go make
Yeah.
copies of this, or we were sort of gophers.
Yeah.
Then the other 2 days, we did secretarial work for the admirals who were being called up to testify.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember once in particular being picked up by a car with a chauffeur,
Yeah.
and the chauffeur was from Texas,
Yeah.
a black man, and we had a real interesting conversation because he was from Texas,
Yeah.
and he was saying that the black people were treated better in Texas than they were in Washington.
In Washington. That's
Mhm.
interesting.
But anyway, to Admiral Stark's home,
yeah.
and I took dictation several hours
Yeah.
from him,
Yeah.
and then of course was taken back to Maine Navy and then had to transcribe.
Now, Admiral
for him.
Stark undoubtedly was one of the admirals
Mhm.
involved in Pearl
That's right.
Harbor.
Admiral Stark, Admiral Kimball, and
And they simply gave you a narrative story, and
Yes.
you took it down and
Yes.
typed it up of
Mhm.
what happened as they remembered it.
yes.
My. That's it.
And from there, we went to Liège, Belgium.
Yeah, Liège.
And
Belgium.
that's where I was during the breakthrough,
Yeah,
everything.
The big
until
bulge,
after the war, the Battle of the Bulge.
You were right there.
Yes.
Good night, Betty. What an
And we
experience.
got bombed for Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
buzz bomb. We got
Yeah.
buzz bomb for Christmas.
Yeah.
We didn't get our turkey.
You got a lot of wounds. You got a lot of fresh wounds out of the Battle of the Bulge, didn't you?
Yes,
Shrapnel.
because we're right there.
Yeah, shrapnel.
Because there were German soldiers
Yeah,
in American soldiers' uniforms
yeah.
speaking beautiful English.
Oh, yeah.
But I have German ears.
Yeah, you could tell that accent,
Yes.
couldn't you?
And then we got a lot of the foreign wounded. We got
Yeah.
in Belgium, Liège, we got a lot of German wounded
Yeah,
soldiers,
yeah.
and later on Russian
Yeah.
and Italian.
Well, were you super specialized in brain surgery all this time?
Yes, sir.
They used you almost entirely in brain
All of the brain surgery.
wounds. Yeah.
I'll never forget one. This is gruesome. You know how you inspect your injuries.
Yeah. Triage.
Triage. And I took this one was on the stretcher on the floor, and he had a towel around his head, and I took the towel off and his brain fell out.
Oh, Betty, how about
I've
that?
never forgotten
The whole top of his head
Just
was gone.
that part.
Yeah. Let's show our pictures first. Now this lady started at the bottom and just went way on down the line. Now I presume these were cap insignias of your officer's caps. Is
Yes,
that correct?
the one on the left there is the hat insignia for the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps.
And that's what you were called, WAAC.
That's right.
That
That's
was the
right.
first. That was before it became
The
WAC.
yes. And the one
And-
on the right is after we dropped the auxiliary and became a part of the Army.
Yeah.
And it was the Women's Army Corps.
Yeah, right. And this was your
That's-
lapel.
That's the lapel insignia for the WAAC and WCC.
Right. Would you like to just tell us what these are? I can read them, but you can read them too, and it might mean.
Okay. The one here is for service in the Women's Army Auxiliary Corps.
That was with this insignia.
Yes. And this was the American campaign for having served in the United States during World War II.
Victory.
This is the World War II Victory Medal. This is the Army of Occupation because I served in Germany. And the little airplane on there indicates that I was stationed in Berlin during the Berlin airlift.
Oh,
And this was service during the Berlin airlift. And then this is the National
Defense.
Service Medal.
3 letters to a lonesome soldier lad.